we're just at the end of a wonderful and exciting and also exhausting day rehearsing all kinds of repertoire, but including the Introduction and Allegro by Elgar. I thought this would be an excellent opportunity for me, with it fresh in my mind and also working with a lot of young musicians like yourselves, really highlighting what the challenges are, both in the preparation of this part and when you get together with a big group of musicians that you do not know. The likelihood is there are things that you just can't predict. So I'm here to tell you of all of those potential pitfalls and how you can prepare for them as best as possible. So I'm going to start off with all the bars before figure 1. The most important things in these bars is full sound, a thickness to your sound. Use as much of the bow as you can. You want this to be so passionate and intense, and you will always want to rush through those triplets, but our amazing conductor Natalia, she will not allow you to do that. She wants it to be as broad as possible, extremely passionate. From figure 1, I would advise you to listen to this part as much as possible. It's really complicated and it does exactly what Elgar always does, which is change tempo, change feeling. His emotions go literally like the wind. It's never just settled and peaceful. It's constantly moving up and down. So this is one place that it's really important to know, what is the solo quartet doing? What are the people around you doing? And where do you fit in? When we get to the third bar of 1, it's a moderato tempo. So your ears and eyes have to be all about you. I mean, if you can, try to memorize as many bars as you possibly can so that you are watching the conductor and just aware of the whole environment that you're in. But that ba 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 bum 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 ba ba bum bum bum. We're still talking about the third bar of 1, and I would say that you do not want to use too much bow. It's piano, there'll be a lot of musicians here, so you want this to be quite concise. Then we go into a largamente. So this is 2 bars before 2. This largamente is definitely slower. So that means the bar before 2, we're really going to be taking time. It's not too fast, and it's not as fast as the first one of that motive that you've heard. The end of the second bar of 2, I want you to be really prepared with your left hand. I would practice this singing in time from 2. You get your finger in the right place, whatever fingering you're doing. Maybe you're doing, or maybe you're doing, you have to find what works best for you. And get really prepared, because you want to come in forte and you want it to be a burst of sound. And one thing to note here at the moderato is bow distribution. It's so important. I'm kind of in the lower half of the bow then, and because it's a rotondando and then diminuendo, a very general thing to say about how the conductor that will be conducting you, Natalia Luibasa, she is meticulous with following exactly what Elgar wrote. Now that means that you cannot see an allegretto or a poco stringendo or a moderato or a tenuto marco, all of these fancy Italian names that are in your score, and think that the music just goes on as normal. It doesn't at all. We are trying to create so much emotion and a burst of all kinds of feelings that we have, a burst of this and that and constant changing of mind. Sometimes you think this, sometimes you think that. You're going from one thing to the next. That is so important, and Elgar actually writes in our parts how to do that. He kind of dictates to us exactly how we should be feeling and when. So please go through this part meticulously and look at exactly where there is a change of tempo and make sure that you pay attention to that and you're ready in that first rehearsal to react to whatever you see the conductor do. We're going to skip to number 7 now. Number 7 in the music will be a bit of a shock in terms of the tempo that Natalia wants to take. So this will be really quite flowing. What I want you to think of in this place is that it has one long line. So even though it's kind of agitato and it's got that excitable feeling to it, actually you're trying to create also a lot of smoothness to the sound. And it does not have to be loud. So you see how the excitement is not in taking time over every note and in taking time over every little detail. The excitement and that kind of like your heart's fluttering, that feeling actually is throughout the whole phrase. So it's sustained through the phrase. So let's just jump to the 4th bar of 10 because I want to just check out that bowing, how you're practicing that bowing. How I practice this type of thing is to keep this very, very still and just allow it to bounce and see what happens. And it's a little bit uneven to begin with. But the more you practice it like that, the more your hand starts to trust how to let the bow bounce. So try to keep this hand as relaxed as possible, and the most important thing in that place actually is to hear everything that's going around you and to hear and fit into the sound and into an internal pulse. So you've got to be really aware of the conductor, you've got to be aware of everything that's around you. I would strongly advise you to practice doing this bit along with the recording. Six bars before 12, it's really important to know that you have a whole half of the orchestra playing on the offbeats. Ba-ba-bum, 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 ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. And they're not just playing, they're playing these massive big chords. So I would learn that part. I would learn that with knowing that that is a massive component to what you're playing. Now 4 bars before 12 is really, really tricky. So if you are struggling with that at all, then you're not alone. And it's difficult when you play it all together. Now the most important thing is to prepare the left hand. Prepare. Prepare. The most important thing you can do is economize both your left and right hand so that everything is actually really neat. And one thing to remember in this place, Natalia is going to be very clear, just doing big, big beats. So she's not going to be trying to make it ebb and flow and all the stuff that applies to much of the rest of the piece. This place is very clinical. About the fingering of a place like that, it's very, very personal. When we get to 6 bars after 12, it's so important to release the left hand. If you're going, it just becomes much, much harder. So try just shooting up. So you're going to miss it. Not that far. But the thing is, if I try to grab hold of that and control the shift, it's never going to work. So you have to practice just letting it go. So I hope you found those tips helpful for preparing the Elgar. It is so, so important to just prepare little but often, every day, every day, every day. And the more prepared you are, the more fun you're going to have when you come to the workshop. So